Hi guys, I'm Dan Hoff, COO of HoneyStick, and today we are going to do an in-depth review of my Range Rover. I'm just kidding. We are going to do an in-depth review of what looks to be a key fob battery, but it's actually a vaporizer, which is switchblade action, known as our MiniMax PRO. Now, I'm doing actually a second take of this video. Well, our first video got removed for reasons that I won't get into, but I also have some really useful updates for you guys on this model, which is our new updated batch. So let's start from the beginning, since some of you might not have been privileged to see the first video. So this is a vaporizer battery that is disguised to look like a switchblade action key fob. As you can see, you can put on your keyring, as seen with the little premium metal trim key holder. I have a standard size key ring on it, and I have it attached to my keys. It's a pretty good size, as you can see how it compares up with a standard key fob on the market, are actually about the same size. With this unit, you have a standard 510 thread coupler to fit a grand assortment of cartridges. So, for example, here, just to show you guys an example, is one of the widest cartridges on the market. It is the V9 Liberty tank, which actually has the upgraded rubber trim on it. So it is very, very wide. And as you can see, it fits and closes in there properly without a problem. So let's get into some of the functionality. We've upgraded this battery. Our first rendition was 500 milliamp hour capacity, which I would say is about twice the capacity of your standard stick stylus batteries with the little stylus tips on them. This new rendition battery on all orders for June is going to have a 650 milliamp hour battery. So we upped the milliamp hours 150 milliamp hours. So it's going to give you a little bit more life in between charges, basically almost making it 3 times the capacity of a standard stylus stick battery. We also, from a lot of our YouTube subscribers, said they didn't like the button feel, or if you pushed on it really hard, sometimes the button would fall into the unit or get stuck. So we improved the button functionality and actually changed the whole button to where you can push on it as hard as you want and it is not going to fall through. And you're going to get a good clean texture and a nice clean push, and it's going to have a decisive click. And we have our YouTube viewers to thank for giving us that upgrade and that helpful hint. Charging the device is really simple. Each unit comes with a micro USB cable that you will simply plug right into the inlet there. Now when you plug it in, you're going to have your lights around the button are going to blink, and then your unit is charging. Then once those lights go out, which usually takes about, people ask us this all the time, it's one of our frequently asked questions, how long does it take to charge? Usually from dead to full, depending on what wall adapter you use, you're looking at between 2 and 3 hours of a total charge time. And with a 650 milliamp hour battery, even if you are a heavy user and are constantly using this thing, your battery should last you more than a day of usage, even if you're a very heavy user. So at least you'll know that you'll get a full day with this battery. So let's talk about the action a little bit. It's similar to a switchblade knife. All you do is you would screw the cartridge into the adapter, and then you would push the stainless steel button here on the side to open, and then you would also have to push it to unlock and be able to close the unit right there. And it flips open very easily. You don't have to do anything, and the unit is ready to vape. This unit will fit 510 thread cartridges. Because of the length of the body of this, it is best for 1/2 mil cartridges, or the 500 milligram, however you want to call it, all the way up to 0.6. You can, however, put a 1 mil cartridge, which would be longer. For example, this right here is a 1 mil cartridge of the same type. As you can see, it has a extra, I want to say probably about 1/3 of an inch in height. It'll close and be fine, but the mouthpiece of your cartridge is going to slightly protrude out there. So this is really built for 1/2 mil cartridges. And if you do have a problem with your 1 mil cartridge sticking out a hair, it would probably look about like that right there. So that's how it looked. Still gonna work just fine, vape just fine, but do keep that in mind because we actually received a lot of emails about that to make sure that it was good for 1/2 mil cartridges and how a 1 mil cartridge would look on it. So how do you turn your unit on? When you first get it, you're gonna charge it, make sure that it's fully charged. We generally ship out our units with 33% charge. You're going to simply click the button 5 times repeatedly. You're going to see the unit light up, and actually automatically, I don't know if you're able to hear that little fizzle, but basically the unit automatically goes into a short preheat. Now, when it goes into the short preheat, if you don't want to preheat right when it turns on, you can push the button 1 time and it will exit that preheat mode. The preheat mode, what it does, it sends a little bit of current through the cartridge in case if your oil's coagulated or your basically hardened up a little bit. Sends a little current through the coil to make sure that it heats up, and before you start vaping or hitting, that your oil has melted down and your cartridge is primed. But if you have very viscous oils that flow very easily, as you can see, this is not really dropping much here as I turned it upside down. So with oil that is this thick or thicker, we would definitely want to allow that preheat function to take its course before we start vaping on it. So then once you have your unit on, you have 3 temperature settings on there. Basically, red is the most intense, and each temperature setting can be seen with what color you see around the ring when you push the button. Here you see red. Now to cycle through your temperatures, when the unit is on, you're going to click it 3 times. And as you see, it blinked up, and now it is blue, which is the lowest of your intensity levels. Now let's click it 3 times again. And then you see you have kind of a white amber color, which is your medium intensity level setting. Now, some cartridges require more power, some cartridges require less power. So it's really kind of just, there is no perfect intensity setting. It comes down to preference, what cartridge you're using combined with which oil. I know that we received a lot of questions about that. So really it's just plug and play and see what you prefer. Now, let's see how our MiniMax PRO key fob switchblade action battery compares to the competition. There is another switchblade action battery that is on the market. And let's see, I think I have one right here on my car key. As you can see immediately, this looks more like one of those little buoys that you would put on your key when you go out boating so that you don't lose your keys. Like, or if it falls in the water, it'll float and you'll see it. It is significantly larger than our MiniMax. Looks pretty significantly heavier as well. Let's compare it to an actual key fob. So some of these we have seen they do have, some of them have a variable temperature, some of them only have 1 temperature, some of them have preheat. How do you charge a unit like this? It actually has a little extension cord that you plug into your computer, your USB, or into a wall adapter, and I guess it'll just hang there with your keys until it's done charging. It's just like if you had a Tesla electric car, it had to hook an extension cord up to it. And then again, it has the same switchblade action to open it. It got a little stuck there because these things, they're not that wide, so if you put a wider cartridge like our Cloud Tank on there, it sometimes gets a little jabbed. Oh, there it goes. Okay. So that's basically comparing the two, so you guys know when you see several other of these on the internet. So for the MiniMax Pro and several other cool items that we have on our website, check us out on www.vapehoneystick.com. Use my special promo code HONEY420 for 20% off this and several other cool items. Follow us on Instagram at official Vape HoneyStick. Like us, subscribe, interact with us in the comments below, and remember to always vape responsibly.